the gentleman, salute him for his work on this, rise in support of the amendment. First of all, Social Security card is used from one end of America to the other as an identification card right now. Who are we kidding? If you want to pass a law and says it shouldn't be, I would ask the chairman and the distinguished minority member of the Social Security committee to pass that law, but let's admit the truth. Everywhere people go, they're asked for a Social Security card. In fact, one way to prove you're a bona fide person who can have a job is to ask for a driver's license and a Social Security card. This is an anti-fraud amendment. Over where we go, people say, well, why can't you stop illegal immigrants or others from coming here? And the number one answer we give our constituents is when they come here, they can get jobs, get benefits against the law because of fraud. And here, the gentleman from Florida has put together the most effective anti-fraud measure we can find without it changing the actions of the government one bit. And we find all this opposition. Ladies and gentlemen of this chamber, what I worry about is that this bill, which started out with good intentions, whether you agree with it or disagree with it, is going to end up being the same kind of thing that the public gets angry with us on. We say we're doing something, and we do nothing. Because every time someone makes a rational and small proposal to get something done, people say, well, what about this hypothetical, that hypothetical, etc. I urge support of this amendment. If you believe you want to stop fraud in immigration, you have no choice but to support this amendment.
Good morning, Rise and Freedom. I'm Austin Peterson. You're watching and listening to the Wake Up America show, and that's on the 4 Liberty Network. Hi, guys. How we doing? It's talk radio style, podcasting, live streaming. Sounds like you're listening to the radio, looks like you're watching a podcast, and manages to offend absolutely everybody. It's the Wake Up America show. Sons of Liberty so few and far between, even amongst libertarians. I said yesterday, people are ripping on libertarians over the LA immigration riots, but the reality is that if you let people who are libertarianish in LA have guns and use them on rioters and looters, the bad guys would all be shot dead within a week. Problem would be solved. Oh, you're so ridiculous. How come you're not ridiculous? You want to spend $5 trillion in the big, beautiful bill. I'm ridiculous because I want to shoot the people who are causing probably 9 out of 10 crimes in Los Angeles. Did you see the videos of the rioters, looters, just beating the hell out of a 7-Eleven store? And he must be the owner, because who else would take that kind of abuse to protect some Twinkies and some ho-hos and, to protect the Slurpee machine? He must have been the owner of the place. But can you imagine? I hate to be cold. I hate to be callous. I hate to be cruel. Oh, who am I kidding? I love it. If the guy was just allowed to take a 12-gauge shotgun and 1, 2, 3 chests, you got, and all of those people, all of a sudden the looting would stop. If the looting starts, the shooting starts, what someone famously said. Wouldn't that be nice? Good morning, pineapples. Looking very good and very nice. Dad Bod Baboon is here.
Good morning, pineapple.
Drew Van Runkle.
Looking very good, very nice.
Bruce Burtwhistle.
Good morning, pineapple.
Looking very good and very nice. Yesterday, Steffi was singing that yesterday. She was going, welcome to the Wake Up America show. All things are silly here. We're having fun. It's a fun 5-day-a-week live news talk show where you get informed, you get great interviews like Matt Edwards, who will be joining us this morning at 8 a.m. Central Time. Camille's out this week. Don't be sad. She'll be back next week. She's traveling this week for work. So we've got a great replacement, a pinch hitter, if you will. Matt Edwards is going to talk to us. He lived in L.A., moved the hell out because of stuff like this. An LA native. We'll hear from Matt Edwards at 8 a.m. Central today on the Wake Up America show, and we're all looking forward to that. I got a billion clips per usual of the what's happening around the world, like this.
What do you make What do you make of the fact that he says you want a civil war on the streets of America?
No, that's just the opposite. I don't want a civil war. A civil war would happen if you left it to people like him. And I liked him. You know, I always got along with him. Never had a problem with him. But he's grossly incompetent.
Talk about Gavin Newsom. Excuse me? I liked him. Get out of here. Standard Trump.
He's an incompetent governor. Look at the job he's doing in California. He's destroying one of our great states. And if I didn't get involved, if we didn't bring the Guard in, and we would bring more in if we needed it, because we have to make sure there's going to be law and order. You had a disaster happening, and they now admit it was a disaster. I watched the chief yesterday, who's a good man, by the way, and he said, well, we're lucky we did this because they were overwhelmed. You saw what was happening. So we did the right thing. Everybody agrees to that. But you have a governor who let the city burn down, didn't want water to be sent down to him. I mean, I sent billions of gallons of water. I wanted to do it in the first term. They wouldn't do it over, I don't know, they have environmental reasons, but there were no environmental reasons. I think it's just a political philosophy. But it's lucky for the people in Los Angeles and in California that we did what we did. We got it just in time. It's still simmering a little bit, but not very much. Yep.
Yeah, it started to calm down yesterday. Good morning, Patriots. Los Angeles on fire, not from climate change this time, from ICE raids, union rage, and a mayor who thinks that federal law enforcement is the problem. Welcome to Liberation Week, where illegal immigration meets martial law, and of course, everybody blames Donald Trump. 700 Marines and 4,000 National Guard troops were deployed to L.A. This is the first time that the Marines have been used in civil unrest in about 30 years. Riots erupted after ICE arrested over 100 illegals in a targeted raid. The protesters attacked law enforcement. They were throwing bricks, cinder blocks. There have been over 50 arrests. The FBI is involved. Union President David Huerta was arrested for obstructing a federal raid. Now he's a martyr figure. Chants of "Todos somos Huerta." Are we all criminals now? Were heard across the city. Gavin Newsom sued Trump. He called the military response disrespectful to our troops. Excuse me. As they're being pelted with rocks. It's so disrespectful to them to get pelted by rocks by many of my big supporters and core constituency on the left. Very, very disrespectful as we're literally chucking cinder blocks at their heads. LA Mayor Karen Bass has accused the feds of creating the chaos on this one, while the zip-tied riders are getting herded into buses like it's Coachella for communists. Good morning, Pineapples. Welcome to the show. We're so glad and thankful to have everyone joining us here live on the Wake Up America show. If today's your first time watching this show, just a reminder, things get weird here sometimes in the morning. We're talking about serious news. I've got serious clips, but we also like to have fun. It's a beautiful morning. At least here it is in Jefferson City, Missouri, where it's a hot town, summer in the city. Back of my neck's getting dirty and gritty. Been down, isn't it pity? Doesn't seem to be a shadow in Jefferson City. Lying around, people like half dead. Told you things get weird. If that's your thing, then you would like the Wake Up America show. So before you leave today, today is the first time you watch the Wake Up America show, make sure you click the follow button over there on Rumble so you can come back and join us for our live schedule, which is 5 days a week, Monday through Friday, 7 to 9 a.m. Central Time here on the Wake Up America show. It's a 5-day-a-week live news talk show. Great way to stay informed, have some fun, get some funny, and join your fellow patriotic community. What I love about this is that you have all these pundits who offer their opinions on the legacy news networks like they're geniuses, like they're God's gift or whatever. Jake Tapper with his lame book. And yet the most profound takes that you will get on the incidents which are occurring come from the regular Joe man on the street like these.
Someone asked me if I support the protests that are going on in LA. I 100% do. Please keep going. Burn down your own backyard if you must. You know why? Because this right here is the greatest campaign ad that this side never had to pay for. Y'all motherfuckers out there in Los Angeles throwing a full-blown fucking tantrum. Like y'all just crawled out the Rio Grande, screaming death to America in a country that gave you the fucking freedom to do that shit.
Sorry for the language.
You were born at Kaiser Permanente in Burbank. Stop it. You ain't El Chapo, you're Chris from Pasadena. You ain't cartel born. You were Target born with a Costco membership by age 5. Half you motherfuckers protesting ain't even Mexican. You're American with Mexican heritage and a tattoo of the Virgin Mary you got on a Vegas bender. Don't get it twisted. I respect the heritage. But flying a foreign flag while shitting on the country that gave you the fucking freedom to do it, that's not pride. You don't even go to fucking Mexico unless it's for spring break in Cancun with a passport you got from the U.S. government. And you won't go live there. Why? Because you like your DoorDash. Your 7-Elevens, your air conditioning, and your freedom to scream dumb shit without a cartel rolling up on your motherfucking ass. And let's be honest, ain't nobody screaming death to Mexico while flying an American flag through Guadalajara. You know why? Because that's how you end up in a back alley, starring in Cartel TikTok Season 3. Meanwhile, the rest of America is sitting back watching you block freeways during rush hour, destroying businesses, wearing $300 fucking Jordans, screaming about injustice in the city with the most social programs and diversity hires in the fucking country. Y'all are the political version of throwing a Molotov cocktail at a fucking Prius because you're mad about gas prices. So listen, I'm not mad you're passionate. I'm mad you're dumb. And your dumbass behavior is helping the other side more than a Trump rally in Texas with free brisket. Every time y'all riot, loot, tearing up your own shit, you're just birthing another red voter. So yeah, I support the protest. Keep fucking going. Keep flying flags of countries you ain't got the fucking balls to move to. And shitting on the system that literally gives you the right to shit on it.
Yes! As the left likes to say, yes, queen. Good morning, guys. Welcome to the Wake Up America show. We have a soundboard on this podcast, and we like to use it, don't we? Fake live studio audience. If it annoys you, just FYI, you will get used to it. And if you are like, it's like my daughter is really obsessed right now with the book Where the Wild Things Are. And when I say obsessed, she's 10 years old. So how can she be obsessed with anything other than like pooping and drinking milk? But that book is the one that she always goes to. It's like Los is very much where the wild things are, except for the monsters don't like give you a nice little tour or like treat you very nicely. They all just eat you alive and throw cinder blocks at your head. No. It's like, this is where the wild things are on the Wake Up America show. This is where the nice monsters live. We're the sex, drugs, and rock and roll wing of the Republican Party. But Austin, why are you wearing a DARE shirt if you're the drugs wing of the Republican Party? DARE, keeping kids off drugs. Well, if you don't know, like, long story short, way back in 2016, I'm not a young man, way back in 2016, when I ran for president of the United States as a libertarian, I got booed at the convention, the national convention, for saying, I don't think we should be allowed to sell drugs to children. I kid you not. Yes, it's real. Don't look it up. There's a video. It's embarrassing. So this shirt, of course, is an irony. I guess I owe Rumble a debt of gratitude to say thank you to Rumble this morning. Maybe it's because I'm wearing the hat, but it looks like they featured us today, so we get to see a nice big audience of people that we haven't met before. So hey, guys, welcome to the Wake Up America show. If today's your first time watching, drop a comment over there in the chat. Say hello, introduce yourselves. We'd love to have an opportunity to earn your viewership. And when I say earn your viewership, what I mean is I'd love to have the chance to have you become a regular viewer of the show, which means if you click follow or drop a comment and start to become a member of the community, we'd be glad and grateful to have you come in here and join us. And if you're lucky, then our regular viewers who know the game might unlock the bonus content for you today on the Wake Up America show, so that when I go to my guest at 8 a.m. Central to talk about the LA riots, instead of watching my little commercial break that I use to transition so that I can bring my guest on, you get to watch our mini documentary, our little Lego themed mini documentaries. They're super fun. They're exclusive. If we raise $75 by the end of the show, either in Rumble Rants or in purchases at our merch shop, which is at forlibertyshop.com, where you can get our delicious founding flavors coffee like Franklin's Electric Elixir. If we raise $75 either in purchases or in Rumble Rants by the end of the show, you'll get to see our unlocked bonus content. And so I hope we do, because it's a lot of fun. Oh my goodness gracious, Austin. Learn how to run your own dang show. Here we go.
The reality is we see peaceful protests launching in Los Angeles.
Take your hands off these poor people. They're just trying to live their lives, man. Trying to live their lives.
The vast majority of protesters and demonstrators are peaceful.
What is just a bunch of people having fun watching cars burn.
Look at this. I mean, what
saying
better
that they have it
campaign?
under control.
Over in the chat, our friend Infowars1776, what's up, my brother? Says, link to the video of that guy talking about protests. Yes, sir. I actually reposted it this morning over on my X account, that video that you just saw. And for those who are not regulars to the show yet, this is fresh to you. We do have a text line that you can see on the screen in the bottom right-hand corner for yourself. If you have a question or if you want a link to any of the sources that I'm using for the show, or you want links to any of the videos that I am sharing today on the show, that just send me a text message too. That way, because sometimes I don't see all of the comments during the live stream. I got lucky. I saw Infowars1776. But I did repost that video that we just watched over to my X stream, so you can grab it there and maybe follow me while you're there at AP4Liberty over on X. That's AP, the number 4, AP4Liberty. And you guys will be able to see that video that we just watched. I've got it over there. So there you go.
Why the hell are you playing right into the hands of Donald Trump? Because I got news for you. On this particular issue, as it involves migrants, immigrants, those who are undocumented, dare we say illegal, in the United States of America, he's winning on this issue. There's a reason he won the popular vote. There's a reason he won the Electoral College vote. There's a reason he won every swing state. There are people within the United States of America that want our immigration crisis addressed and want the situation resolved somehow, some way. And the person that seems eager to bring a resolution to the table is President Donald Trump.
Now, this is the potential. If he runs for president as a Democrat, that'll be fascinating to see. I would love to see Stephen A. Smith on the Democratic debate stage saying things like this, wouldn't you?
Now, others may challenge that because they may say we had a bipartisan agreement when Joe Biden was in office that Donald Trump convinced the GOP to nix because he wanted to use it as an issue to favor him during the election. Well, damn it, it worked. It worked. And I got news for you, Governor Newsom. It's working now.
Just tell me, how much would you appreciate getting to watch Stephen A. Smith debating Governor Gavin Newsom, with Stephen Smith taking the more populist left approach, praising President Trump as a Democrat? You know what's going to happen is he's going to pull an RFK Jr. He's going to join the Republican Party and get a job in the Trump cabinet. You can't be a celebrity and praise Trump like that, as Stephen A. Smith is doing, and not end up with a job in the cabinet. At least that's what you have to be a former Democrat, though, like Elon and RFK Jr. and so many of these other people. Gavin Newsom. The only borders that California cares about are the ones separating Gavin Newsom's mansion from the homeless encampment out front. Do you support Trump's use of the military here, or do you think it risks setting a dangerous precedent? I mean, I could see it either way. Some of my legal friends yesterday were reminding me about this, the concept of posse comitatus, which of course is not absolute. The idea of using the military for domestic law enforcement. That's the kind of thing when we were listening to, I don't know about you, but around 2008 or 9, when I was listening to Alex Jones, because he was the only guy who would have Ron Paul on his show like twice a week. Those are the kinds of things he would say that he was freaking out about, right? He would say, oh, they're going to use posse comitatus on the land. They want to use the military to put me in the FEMA camps, right? All that stuff. That's the kind of stuff that we right wingers would freak out about. But I get, now that, as long as they use it against the left, we got to put I tell you what, for all those FEMA camps that they built to put patriotic American citizens in, put the illegals in, house them in the FEMA camps. What do you guys think? Illegal immigrants to the FEMA camps? So here's the thing. I'm not anti-immigration. I'm for legal immigration, but I'm pro law and order. I'm for American sovereignty. I mean, we do have people who grew up here. They were brought here when they were kids. They speak only English. They love this country. I don't know if deporting them is the right idea. You send them to a country they have no connection to, right? But the guy who threw a cinder block at the Marine, well, he's going to get a defense fund and $1 million and become this hero? No. Somebody who throws a cinder block should just be shot dead right there. No deportation necessary. I think it's, what is it, $17,000 per deportation? There's no reason why we can't support President Trump and Rand Paul and Thomas Massie. I don't know how you guys feel about it, but frankly, I think somebody did the math yesterday. One of my buddies, Jeremy Coffin, he was talking about the economics of the deportations. And here is what he had posted. He had said that it was around, for an extra they want to spend $5 trillion, like raise the debt ceiling to $5 trillion, be able to spend another $5 trillion to deport approximately 500,000 people. And we're told that the problem is that we have how many millions of people here? 500. Why does the Congress need to spend another $5 trillion to deport approximately 500,000 people? A lot of these immigration protests are a result of the administration cracking down because they have not been moving as fast as they had hoped. Stephen Miller's in the White House trying to speed things up because things had been going slow. I saw many of the president's biggest supporters were complaining about the lack of haste with which deportations were being carried out. At the rate that we're going right now, there's no chance for us to be able to deport. I hear numbers all over the spectrum. I hear 6 million people. I hear 12 million people. I hear 24 million people. They want to spend in the big, beautiful bill something like, they want to raise the debt ceiling another $5 trillion. So they're asking to be able to have the ability to borrow another $5 trillion. And at the current rates that we're going in deportations, to deport approximately 500,000 people. Now, what we ought to do is we ought to privatize hunting illegal immigrants. We ought to incentivize. And what we ought to do is immediately anybody with a criminal record ought to be hunted down with what we can't. The only problem is maybe if you look at what a failure the government is, consider how long it took them to find Osama bin Laden, and now you know why they can't find MS-13 gang members. I'm sure that there are plenty of people who would be glad to report the criminal aliens. I've just heard wild amounts of numbers of illegal aliens here. Arvolt24 says 6 million sounds high. Right now, we're on track during Trump's entire term, to deport approximately 500,000 people. So can we have fiscal sanity and secure borders? Yes, I believe we can. But I'd love to hear your thoughts on that. You can send me a text at 573. You can say, Austin, you're stupid, you're full of crap. Yell at me all you like. 573-319-1586. That's 573-319-1586. 1586. One listener texted in and asked if I could give an update on the documentary shoot at Boonville. Yes, we are shooting a documentary about the Battle of Athens, and that is next week right here in mid-Missouri. Super excited, kind of nervous. Big, huge shoot, battle scene about an incident. The last successful armed uprising in American history happened in 1946 in Athens, Tennessee. They called it the McMinn County War, and we are gathering together a stage reenactment so that we can bring the story to a wider audience. I'm so grateful to see we've got so many people joining us live over on Rumble. If today is your first time, please click the like button and consider clicking the follow button as well, so that you can come back every Monday through Friday, 7 to 9 a.m. Central Time here on the Wake Up America show. We'd be very glad and grateful to have you become a regular guest, a regular hangout with us. We love meeting new people. Also, I'm grateful to Rumble for the opportunity and that they would share me with this audience, because they are huge supporters of the Wake Up America show. And Rumble has launched a product that they want me to share with you that I'm excited to talk to you about, which is 1775 coffee. They've got a starter kit, only 1,000 units. It sounds like an absolute blast. I love getting fun little kits sent out. Rumble has one right now for their 1775 coffee. All single origin, small batch, toxin and mold free, and you're going to be getting a gold spoon clip because freedom isn't scooped with plastic. A frother strong enough to stir up your coffee and your mother-in-law's political opinions. Yeah, my mother-in-law, very liberal. And a black 1775 tumbler that says, I don't take life advice or caffeine from a woke sea witch. $170 worth of coffee and gear, yours for $99. If you've been watching 1775 blow up on Rumble and wondering if it's worth it, it is. Go to 1775coffee.com/studio and grab your starter kit before they're gone. Bold beans, clean fuel, and a morning routine that stand for something just like Rumble does. Thank you, Rumble. Hearts in the chat for Rumble. Without Rumble, we would be in deep trouble. YouTube demonetized me about a year ago, and it's been a challenge. This show has been on for 3 years, and YouTube has finally permanently demonetized me. I wonder why it is that they don't. And I saw yesterday that they're going to stop like clamping down on people. It's too late for me, but that's why we're a Rumble first show. We invest in Rumble. We spend time on Rumble. If you're watching us live on Rumble this morning, let's maybe a thumbs up in the chat for Rumble.
The American electorate believe that the Democrats don't have a clue on the issue of immigration. I mean, you could just take it here. Closer to trust more in immigration, Democrats versus Republicans. Got 3 different polls for you across the board. They all tell the same story. Republicans lead on the issue of immigration. You see it here, CBS +6. You see it here, CNN +6. You see it here, Ipsos, even bigger, +19. No matter what poll you look at, no matter which way you cut it, the American public is with the Republicans. The American public is with Donald Trump, and to a much greater extent than they were in term number 1. And it's not just on the broad issue of immigration, it's on the specifics as well, in which the American public is with Donald Trump and the Republicans. And that is why Donald Trump is eager to take on this fight and eager for those scenes out of Los Angeles.
Yeah, that's why he loves what's happening in Los Angeles. I mean, not really. I don't think he wants riots. But he knows that this is good for him. And if the Democrats continue to keep this up, they are just getting more red-hatted voters. Every single iconic photograph that comes out. Did anybody see Hassan Piker went out there at L.A. and was doing the whole meme where it's like, hold on, somebody screenshot this. Ready? This is me, the libertarian pointing at his fedora, right? The typical libertarian pointing at his fedora. Here it is. You do the. I'm going to do the soy face. You guys ready? Okay, screen capture this. Here we go. There you go. You got your soy face. What do you guys say? There you go. Take your screenshot, then go meme it and make pictures of Austin doing the soy face, either at the fedora, which is pretty soy, or find some other thing that you can have Austin Peterson pointing out and meme the hell out of it.
Do you think that President Trump should invoke the Insurrection Act?
Well, that is effectively a function of available resources. So when they fully ramp up what they think is the optimum number of National Guardsmen, and if they still aren't quelling the violence, then yes, is the short answer, just as it was done in LA back in 1992. And so that's what that tool is for. And the president has made it clear that unlike his first term, he's willing to use it. I think we all take him seriously on that. He's already moved National Guardsmen in a way he did not during the riots in 2020. I can tell you, if you think of Portland, Oregon, where we had 340 officer injuries in the summer of 2020, 340 officers injured. And Governor Brown there would not bring in the National Guard, and President Trump didn't override it, as he has the authority to do.
I hear you, Ken, but you raised
several times.
You raised a very serious thing, so I just want to ask you. You said the Insurrection Act. It's really a matter of available resources. I don't know that that's how a lot of people would read it. Are you saying that it's really just a matter of if they don't have enough guard, then they can go ahead and deploy active duty military like these Marines have been readied, and that's okay because of the Insurrection Act?
That's exactly what the Insurrection Act said.
They did this back in the 1992 riots. That's Ken Cuccinelli, former Attorney General of Virginia. Yes, they did. Again, and why is it always Los Angeles?
What does your intel tell you about these people causing all the problems? Are they people ISIS trying to deport, or are they professional agitators?
The people that are causing the problem are professional agitators. They're insurrectionists. They're bad people. They should be in jail. Thank you.
It's like you queued him up, Priscilla. That word he used, they're insurrectionists. That I can't imagine that was an accident.
I think
because
it's
it seems as though that is the place that the White House is trying to get. And for the president, it's icing on the cake that he can do it in the state of California, because on a whole host of issues, he has had California, Gavin Newsom in particular, in his sights. The question he was asked was about Newsom daring Tom Homan to come and arrest Newsom, and the president responded, "I would do it," and then he said, "Gavin wants the publicity."
This is a very serious word that's being thrown around now, insurrection. That's a rebellion of the states or people in the states against the federal government. That is not something to be trifled with. If, for example, to your point, the president were to invoke the Insurrection Act, I think we would have yet another legal morass. It would be another instance of the way that the White House is trying to...
Another lawsuit. They're going to sue him, guys. Look out. The Democrats are going to sue Trump. No. Good God. Morning, friends. We're glad and thankful to have you here on the Wake Up America show. I'm so glad that Rumble decided to share us with you this morning. If today is your first time watching the Wake Up America show, we hope that you'll click the follow button. Thank you to Andy Opperman, who gifted 10 subs this morning. That means we've raised $50 towards a $75 bonus goal. If you guys want to see the bonus content, then all we have to do is raise another $25, either in Rumble Rants or in purchases at our For Liberty Shop store, forlibertyshop.com. And if you do get your Gulf of America merchandise while you're there, we have the best Gulf of America merchandise. And Founding Flavors coffee available at forlibertyshop.com as well. If we, again, all we have to do is like sell another box of coffee or a t-shirt, and that will unlock the bonus content. You can watch that mini documentary today instead of commercials. Okay, shut up. That's actually a funny sign. Usually the Democrats are incapable of making funny memes, but I'll give Donald Trump this one. Trump can oligargle these nuts. I mean, it doesn't really make sense, but it is funny. I would laugh. Deport. Go back to Mexico. The Trump supporters have arrived at the protests. Go back to Mexico. They're not even from Mexico, dude. It's Stan from Pasadena. Some of these guys that are waving the Mexican. Wait a minute, you got the wrong flag there. That's an Italian flag, dude. You got the right colors. That's the wrong flag. It's a flag of Italy. Can you imagine the Italians and the protesters? Remember the Italian protesters? When was the last time that we had what was the Irish riots? Was it the American Civil War? Does anybody remember what was the movie Gangs of New York, where we had to like save the United States from popery? We had to stop the Irish Catholics from coming into the United States, and the Catholics and the Protestants were all fighting and all this. It was a great movie. If you've never seen Gangs of New York, highly recommend. But that's when the Irish were like they were lower than blacks in terms of the American caste, because the United States does not have a caste society like India has a formal caste society. We have something of an informal caste society. They call it class, right? But the Irish used to be lower than Irish need not apply. Oh, and then the Mickeys all joined the police officers and joined the military, and then they became good members of society, and they've assimilated. And now we have St. Patrick's Day. Everybody knows St. Patrick's Day, and the Italians did the same with Columbus Day. They're like, we don't want to riot no more. We want to have a spaghetti. I'm just making that up because it's true, but it's also very funny. The Italian flag instead of a Mexican flag. Go home. If you see an American flag, it's a Trump supporter. Good for you guys. Keep it peaceful. Welcome to the Wake Up America show, guys. I'm Austin Peterson. We're going to have Matt Edwards joining us here live in about 20 minutes. I hope that we unlock the bonus content. I think that we will. And if you can, click the like button. Totally free way to support the show. You can also send us a text if you'd like to communicate with me directly and make sure that I see your message, because sometimes the chat flies by and I can't see every message. See that phone number at the bottom of the screen. If you plan on being a regular, or if you already are a regular, you've been watching us in the mornings regularly, then I would just say program that number in your phone and make it AP for Liberty or the Wake Up America show. Type in there, nutface, Austin Peterson. I don't know, some stupid name that you want to give me. You're angry. You want to send me an angry text message, or hey, Austin, I bought my coffee from the shop. What's my tracking number? Or hey, Austin, during the show, you should bring this up, or you should have this guest. It's an all access text line at 573-319-1586. Again, the text lines are open at 573-319-1586. I want to talk to you guys about my sponsor, Connector app. They are a team of libertarians who put together an app for social media that is actually supposed to get us to meet in real life. IRL, as the Zoomers call it. I'm old. I just say in real life. It's a place, social media is a place for us to complain and argue, and boy, do we love to complain and argue, but it also is extremely distracting, preventing us from the real life interactions that we should be having to heal our society. Connector.app, that's connector.app. It's a website. You won't find it on your mobile phone devices other than if you type in this website address. It is right now in its early phases, and there are benefits for joining early. It's designed to help you level up your life and your peer groups. Now you can network intentionally, just like the 1% does. Searchable keywords in each profile are used to find exactly who you need for friends, romance, or business connections. I'm a scuba diving guy. I'm looking for friends to meet up to go scuba diving with, so we can have some buddies. There's no algorithms, which of course we all hate how the algorithms destroy people like our reach and our ability to speak out. There's no shadow bans, no unreasonable censorship. You can receive money in a crypto wallet. You can read blogs from your contacts. It's brand new. They're getting the word out, and I'm happy to share with you my sponsor, Connector.app. That's Connector.app. Visit the website right now, created by libertarians so we can get back to reality. Imagine libertarians getting back to reality. If you're an early adopter and you sign up early, you're going to share a 5% revenue pool every month in the future. It's not in your app stores, guys. Go to connector.app, connector.app in your browser. Make a profile today. Find your kind on a map. Thank you, guys. All right, guys. Oh, Ruby was gifted a membership. Stephen Rue, my old buddy from high school. I mean, how fun is that? We get to hang out together in the live streams in the morning. Stephen and I had some adventures, man. We could tell you some stories, but we don't have time now because I got to get to the news. In 1954, Operation Wetback saw Dwight Eisenhower deporting hundreds of thousands of illegals, and there was no national meltdown. Right? What changed? The government used to have a spine, or is it that the American people used to be made of sterner stuff? 1954, look it up, Operation Wetback. So can we find a balance, I guess is my question for you, the audience. Can we find a balance between strong borders and realistic enforcement? Or is that hate speech? If I was in California, would I be arrested by the LAPD for saying something like that? If you're in the UK, you absolutely would. Realistic enforcement. So realistic, does it have to be $5 trillion? I mean, do we have to barbecue Senator Rand Paul and Thomas Massie for wanting to have fiscal restraint, for wanting to not only enforce the proper laws against illegal immigration, but also have fiscal sanity as well? Why does it have to be one for the other? Why is it that we have to throw out, that we just write a blank check for anything, right? The left wants it for the Green New Deal. The right wants it for immigration. What, we can't have fiscal sanity and reasonable border enforcement? What, do we want to have $15,000 hammers or gold toilet bowl seats at ICE headquarters? Or can we have realistic expectations about about how to enforce our borders and not, burn at the stake people like Senator Rand Paul or Thomas Massey for suggesting that we have a little fiscal sanity in this country. What do you say? Come on, you tell me why I'm wrong. Why can't we have both? We can't talk and walk and chew gum at the same time?
As opposed to allowing the Trump administration to try to distract the American
what
people
is going on with this clip?
By unleashing mass.
Well, you guys didn't want to
agents.
hear
If they were
Hakeem
proud of
Jeffries anyways. Fail. Audio fail. Did you guys see the anti-ICE protesters arrested in Trump Tower yesterday? I mean, I got to say, they're stupid, but they're brave.
This is the New York City Police Department. You are occupying.
Look at all those zip ties, man. You know they want to use it.
And without permission, I'm ordering you to leave these premises now. If you refuse to leave, you may be subject to arrest.
I mean, that's a security risk big time, because you just know one of these days, one of these lefties is going to strap a bomb and be like, bah, la, 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 la. It's going to be Kyle from New Hampshire, and he's going to be like, Allahu Akbar.
New York City Police Department, you are occupying.
If I was going to guess at to what the next terror attack, where it was going to be located, probably right there where they're at right now. This is, and look at the age of these people who are they're getting arrested. They got nothing better to do. They spent their entire life spending their kids and their grandkids and their great grandchildren's inheritance. They voted for every Democrat who was on the ballot since pre-LBJ. They voted for the Democrat. Their first election they were eligible for was Dwight Eisenhower, and they voted for the Democratic candidate. Look at this. These old ladies, the ones where they got the butchest haircuts. And then, of course, look at the haircut on this guy. He's got the Lebowski right there. He's got where's the money, Lebowski? And he's wearing a poncho. Dude, get out of here. What kind of pants are those? That is a man who has not worked an honest day's, has not had an honest day's work in his entire life. Look at these losers. Losers. Rock Cuts and CA Cole 71. It's their first time on the Wake Up America show, and they already were gifted with subs. You guys, you stinkers, you're so lucky. Andy Opperman is a huge friend of the Wake Up America show and a big supporter and a benefactor. He's also a friend, and we're so grateful to have Andy here as a regular with us. He's always so generous. Thank you. Everybody say thank you, Andy. He just unlocked the bonus content for us all. And we're glad to have him here. Yes, it's 828 people watching us live, so click that like button. Let's show them the power of economic freedom and personal liberty here on the Wake Up America show. We've got Matt Edwards. He's a former Los Angelino who's going to be joining us at 8 a.m. Central Time to give his take on what's happening out in CA. But
I mean, it's, again, sober and serious moment. Meanwhile, can I just add, and this is why I told the president, just get it over with. Arrest me. Move on. If you need some head to scalp, do it with me. But stop messing with these kids. Stop messing with 4-year-olds, kids in elementary school. We've got kids. We have hundreds of graduations down here. Kids are not going to their own graduations. Families, grandparents.
Yeah, because their stupid parents are taking them to the riots. Have you seen this? There was a baby who got tear gassed the other day. But it wasn't because it was just some accident. It wasn't like the Fed showed up and they were just tear gassing everybody at random, although there was one Australian reporter who did get a rubber bullet in her butt. Let's watch our aim, boys, especially when they're cute blondes, right? You know what I'm saying? Come on, guys. Come on. Take it easy on the sexy Australian reporters. And if they're sexy Latinas and they're illegal, then they can stay. Just kidding. Just kidding. They have to go back after a thorough inspection course. Just kidding. Just kidding. Respect their individual natural rights and send them back to Mexico where they want to go with the flag that they're flying. We're glad to have all of our regular guests who are joining us live here on the Wake Up America show, like JJ4884, Mighty Megatron, YO Wildman, and others. Introduce yourself to them in the chat. It's like the Star Wars Cantina over there, guys. It's a blast. So make sure that you say hi to everybody in there and click the follow button before you leave the stream today so you can get a notification when we're live again tomorrow morning. We'd love to have some of you become regular guests. Now, while the Marines are taking bricks to their heads in Los Angeles, guess who's buying bricks of stock or stock in bricks back in Washington, D.C.? It's not just illegals who are trying to cross the line. It's Congress playing Monopoly with the insider tips, congressional stock trading, while you and I are left holding the bag. Listen to this. Over 700 stock trades occurred in 1 week by lawmakers or their families during the market chaos that was going on during Trump's tariff announcements. Everybody remembers Liberation Day. For them, it was liberation from crushing poverty or debt, because some of these Congress critters, they go to Washington, D.C. They're not. Here's the thing. When they win their elections, many of them, they're not rich when they go to Washington, D.C. My congressman was kind of the exception. He was a rich doctor, owned his own plane, went to Washington, D.C. It's almost better I'd say it's almost better. It's better if they go to Congress rich, because if they go to Congress as a bartender, then they're going to end up like AOC, millionaires in a month. How is it they get so rich so fast? Well, representatives like Ro Khanna and Rob Bresnahan were like the biggest congressional traders. These are the same guys who say that they want to ban the alleged insider trading going on. I mean, come on, we all know that they're getting the tips, right? But trades in Amazon, Visa, Palantir, and more. Some nailed the timing of their trades days before the market rebound. Marjorie Taylor Greene, she bought 28 stocks, including Amazon and FedEx. Representative Moskowitz bought 23. Is it a coincidence? I mean, yeah. I got a bridge to Tuscumbia Bridge Company here in mid-Missouri. We'd love to sell you stock in our bridge. Let's say Liberation Day for them meant liberating your savings account into their portfolio. It's like Pelosi's portfolio, but make it bipartisan. I mean, it's not investing. It's just legalized front running. They say that these trades were made by outside advisors. Yeah, and Hunter Biden's art dealer has no idea who buys his paintings. No idea who's giving me these. I mean, the paintings were fantastic, were they not? I prefer the photographs. S&P 500 dropped over 4.5% for 2 sessions. $6 trillion in market value evaporated. Congress, no problem. They're getting rich as America burns. NASDAQ, they did rebound 12% in 1 day, the biggest since the dot-com boom. It's up, it's down, it's left, it's right. Lawmakers' April trades, highest monthly volume in over a year. So Liberation Day tariffs are coming. Somebody gets the word. Congress spreads the information. They're all insider trading. You and me, right? Regular investors, if we're trying to put away a little bit of money, we've got I've got one of those brokerage accounts for my daughter. That's a custodial account. We try and put a little money in there, sock a little bit away at a time. So you have to trade stocks in there, try and buy these things. We're screwed. But if you really want to get rich these days, don't start a business. Just run for Congress. So here's the question. Should members of Congress be banned from trading individual stocks? Let me know. Do you believe these trades are really being made without their knowledge? Another good question. Or here's the thing. What do you think the penalty should be if a politician is profiting while you and I are panicked? We'd love to hear your thoughts on that one. Haha AP, I bet your favorite was the one with the M&Ms. LMAO. I'm so confused. I have no idea what you're talking about. Steelbringer says, I would support having quotas that outline priorities for younger single women on these. What are you guys talking about? Incels and all this kind of stuff. That's not what we're talking about. We're talking about congressional insider trading, guys. And I have no idea what the chat is doing, but there's almost 1,000 people there. So God bless America. Look at the hypocrisy in LA. Don't enforce the law. In DC, it's don't regulate our portfolios. The same people who call Trump a dictator, same people are silent when Congress robs you blind with a legal pen and a fake trust. You get arrested if you're peacefully protesting. If you show up like this, you'll have your life destroyed. Here we go. Take a look at this. At the top, there's the insurrection. At the bottom, there's the peaceful protest. Right? Is anyone else noticing this? You protest peacefully, but you're on the wrong side of the issue. You will have your life destroyed. If you burn down Waymo taxis, fly a foreign flag in our country, set things on fire, loot, riot, destroy, then you get a Congressional Medal of Honor. And all the while this is going on, all in the backdrop, Congress is robbing us blind. Insider trading for for us it's crime, for them it's the law, and they're going to get away with it because the American people are asleep. Thank you so much to Rumble. 910 people watching us live. That's insane. Thank you, Rumble. When they first started this company back in 2013, they built it for people like me. I'm a small creator. We run a podcasting business. We call it the For Liberty Network. We've got 4 shows on it. We're very small, scrappy. We're trying to grow and spread our ideas. And we have 3 other shows. One is hosted by Daniela Pensac, Culturama. Another one is the Liberty Tonight Boys, the king of all libertarians, and Brian Piotr. And then Stephanie and I host a show on Friday nights. That's a Freedom Arcade where we play video games. And we have experienced nothing but censorship and suppression on every other platform. Rumble is literally the only platform that has never silenced or suppressed me. As you can see right now with 900 people watching the show, Rumble, not only do they not suppress me, they actually support the Wake Up America show. They actually put us into people's feeds. They don't mind that I have controversial opinions and I'm a kooky, wild libertarian and maybe I'm a little crazy and maybe I joke around, but do I provide fact-based reporting? Absolutely. They just have to be inconvenient facts that the left, the Democrats, YouTube, and all the other social networks don't want to hear. So they've demonetized us on every other platform. Rumble actually monetizes us. Rumble stood up for free speech when it was deeply unpopular during the COVID-19 panic, when even Republicans were freaking out and saying lockdown states and getting the jabs and all that stuff. The platform Rumble actually allowed us to communicate with one another. It's allowing us now to communicate with one another. We all owe a debt of gratitude for Rumble for standing up for free speech, the First Amendment. They're offering $10 off for their premium subscription to Rumble. That's the only way that you'll be able to gain access to our members-only content, our Friday night Freedom Arcade, our video game hangout right here at Rumble. They'll give you $10 off for an annual subscription if you like, if you go to rumble.com/premium, and then you'll be able to watch our awesome content that we have on Friday nights, because it's exclusive, premium, members-only content, and you have to be a Rumble Premium subscriber. So go to rumble.com/premium and use their promo code STUDIO to unlock that discount. And thank you, Rumble. We're so grateful. They've done a lot. They've done a lot for us. What would we do without them? All right, so Matt Edwards, comment on the protests in Los Angeles. We've got the bonus content. Andy Opperman unlocked it for us. Thank you, Andy. It's a little Lego mini documentary about Green New Deal psychoses. We'll play the clip. It's a great little mini documentary. Enjoy it. We'll be right back with Matt Edwards. The show continues on the Wake Up America show. That's the For Liberty Network.
Funny? When environmentalists scream, "Save the Earth," they usually forget to mention they might need to steamroll a few farmers along the way. Out in Iowa, the heartland of America, where people still value things like land, freedom, and not being bulldozed by the government, landowners are being told they have to give up their property for a carbon pipeline. Not because they want to, not because they were offered a deal too good to refuse. No, because the government says so. It's called eminent domain, and if you've ever had the misfortune of reading the fine print on your so-called private property rights, you know that phrase is just a polite way of saying, your land is yours, until someone richer wants it. Now let's be clear, this isn't a pipeline to get water to dying crops or energy to Americans who need it. This is a CO2 pipeline. That's right, The government and private industry are teaming up to build a $1 billion underground straw that sucks carbon dioxide out of ethanol plants and pumps it across multiple states so it can be buried in North Dakota, like a bad idea someone's trying to hide in the backyard. It's part of a grand vision called carbon capture, a high-cost, low-return fantasy where we pretend to save the climate by shoving gases underground and then patting ourselves on the back with your tax dollars. And how are they getting the land to do this? By threatening American citizens, by telling farmers, some who've held this land for generations, that if they don't sell, the government will just take it. And who's behind this? A company called Summit Carbon Solutions. And they've had help from state officials who conveniently redefined the term public use to include a private company ramming a tube through your cornfield. Let's just pause on that. You work the land, pay the taxes, defend your home, and now you get to be told by a bureaucrat that this isn't really your land after all. Because climate. Now here's the part that should really boil your blood. A lot of these so-called leaders rubber stamping this land grab aren't just left-wing bureaucrats. They're Republicans, supposed conservatives, the same people who show up at CPAC in cowboy boots talking about the Constitution, then go home and sign off on corporate seizures of private property. They'll wrap themselves in the Gadsden flag 1 minute and let a foreign-backed energy firm tread all over you the next. They say limited government, but apparently that means limiting you, not themselves. And don't bother trying to get a straight answer. Most of them are too busy at ribbon cuttings for things you didn't ask for and definitely didn't vote for. We're told this is all necessary to combat climate change. But let's be honest, stealing land from American citizens to bury carbon isn't saving the planet. It's just another government grift. A multi-billion-dollar shell game where the winners are the corporations that lobbied for it and the losers are the people who actually live on the land. This is not just an Iowa problem. This is a test case. If they can get away with it here, if they can con the public into believing that green energy justifies ripping up your deed and trampling your rights, they'll do it in your state next. Let's be honest, a pipeline that runs on stolen land is not a victory for the planet. It's a victory for corporate welfare, government overreach, and climate cronies who'd rather sue a farmer than ask permission. Now, I'm not here to trash every climate solution, but when the solution involves stealing land from Americans and handing it to billionaires, we've crossed a line. So here's your call to action. If you believe in private property, if you believe your land is yours, not the state's, not a company's yours, then you need to speak up. Share the stories from Iowa. Pressure your representatives. And if you're in a red state, ask your governor why they're letting green tyranny in through the back door. Because if we don't stop this now, the only thing green about the future will be the money changing hands, from your pocket to theirs. And hey, if you're tired of just shouting into the void online, maybe it's time to make a statement that sticks. Go check out forlibertyshop.com, where your t-shirt does more for freedom than your congressman did last session. We've got gear that sparks conversations, starts debates, and occasionally offends the right people. Not funded by lobbyists and definitely not carbon captured. Because the fight for liberty isn't just in the courtroom or on the ballot, it's in the culture too. Wear it, share it, and never surrender an inch.
Carrying a flag is not illegal, as you know. What did happen in 1992 was so different from what we're seeing now. I mean, that was a real riot.
Video after video has shown that these agents are the ones provoking protesters and also making up, aggression by these protesters that later video shows people were not aggressive.
We are having an administration that's targeting peaceful protests, people that are there to protest. The president is sending the National Guard because he doesn't like the scenes. He doesn't like the scenes of people peacefully protesting.
The unrest is isolated. LA is home to millions of people, most of whom are having a normal day here on Sunday.
You know, you've heard reports that there are riots on the streets of Los Angeles. That is not what's happening across the city of Los Angeles.
Governor Newsom's right. There wasn't anything like a riot happening on Friday, Saturday.
We just witnessed a protester thanking a National Guardsman for his service here in California.
LAPD, by most estimates, had this under
under control last night.
No, I don't think the National Guard is needed now. Things in LA are calm. There was a protest that got a little unruly late at night.
There have been no violence where anybody that was protesting hit anybody, shot anybody, threatened anybody. Nothing has happened.
What is just a bunch of people having fun watching cars burn.
Most of those demonstrations were very peaceful. They were chanting, they were shouting. People were driving by, honking their horns.
Very peaceful, mostly peaceful. The Marines are also fiery, but mostly peaceful. That were sent in, the U.S. Marines. They're mostly peaceful. Welcome to the Wake Up America show. I'm your host, Austin Peterson. It's nice to see all of our friends hanging out in the chat with 700 people watching us live this morning. How could we not say thank you to Rumble for introducing us to wonderful people like Rock Cuts over in the chat, who I don't recognize. It must be his first time here on the show. Welcome. Supernaut says thumbs down for the Dare shirt. Oh, come on. Don't you guys know the inside joke about me and like the drugs to heroin to 5-year-olds? If you don't look it up. I'll tell you a little story later because we got a great guest here to talk about the significance of flying those Italian flags out there in California. The green and the red and the white ones. Join him. Matt, this is a spaghetti riot.
Yeah.
Good morning to Matt Edwards. He is joining us live here on the show. He's been on the show before, but we're grateful to have him. He is the executive director of the Citizens Alliance of Ohio. Good morning, Matt.
Holy cow! It's Idaho, but that's okay. We don't mind our good folks in Ohio either. But
Idaho. Excuse me. Yes,
that's okay. Austin, it's great to be back with you. I enjoy your coverage. I enjoy your takes on what's happening in our world, man, especially in our country.
Well, thanks, bud. I want to hear your take on it though, because you lived there. I was in LA visiting for a few weeks, and then I got the hell out. But you lived there, and I guess you got the hell out because of stuff like this.
Yeah, that's exactly right. I mean, I'm born and raised in Los Angeles, and so I've lived through the Rodney King riots. I've lived through Laker celebration riots, and everything in between. And so I will say that opening montage that you had at the top of the hour here was pretty funny to listen to, because like I just want to break down every single one of those points and kind of point out like how ridiculous those statements are. Of course, everything is Trump's fault. Everything is the ICE agents' fault. Just like everything would have been the Lakers' fault. Like, how dare they win a championship and just spark riots in the streets? I will say this though, the Los Angeles, I mean, you said you were there recently. Los Angeles is a huge city, and I don't just mean by people, I mean by like the land, the square mileage. It is absolutely huge. And so when there are people saying, oh, this is just a flare up in small areas in the city, that may be true in terms of like square miles and such, but what's happening, like for instance, in the downtown area, I mean, that's where you say this is it's going to affect 1 million or so people because of the amount of people that are in this place. But the riots may not be happening 30 miles away, which is still Los Angeles. You know what I mean? So like, sure, the entire city is not under siege like it was during the Rodney King riots. When I was a teenager when that happened, I lived in what was called the Valley, which is on the other side of the hill into West LA, Hollywood, and the like, and you could literally see at night the light from the fires that were going on the other side of the hill and the smoke rising. So that when someone says that was a real riot, like, sure, it was more widespread, it covered more area. But what's going on here now with the absolute utter attack against the ICE agents and against the LAPD, who are completely overwhelmed. I mean, the LAPD has the like of the largest big cities, they have the fewest police per person, right? Per 100,000. I think it's something like 256 police per 100,000. I think that's the number. Whereas Chicago and New York have upwards of 300 and 400 cops per 100,000 people. So the loss, the sort of like complete disparaging numbers between the two are what's leading to a lot of this, and it's why we need the National Guard and Trump sending in the Marines now. And when you think about it, 500, 700 Marines to quell an area in downtown LA and just outside Chinatown and all of that, like you really need you need to put it into perspective that it's not that much for a city that large.
Talk to us about the significance, as you were talking before the segment began. We were talking backstage about flying a foreign flag on American soil, such as these protesters have done.
Yeah, it's a really big deal, I think, and I think it's lost on some people. You think, oh, they're just waving a flag, they're proud of their heritage or they're proud of where they're from. But just think about it, Austin. Think about in all of human history. I mean, go back to the 1100s, go back to the BCs, go back to when banners and flags were waved by armies, and they invaded a neighboring area, a neighboring land, and they hoisted their flag and they claimed it for themselves. And you think, well, that's not what's happening here, but really, is it? I mean, I would say that California has been a fallen state in the hands of these types of people, these leftists, these people who are love their home country more than they love our country, and they feel the need to then wave their flag. I mean, those are iconic pictures now of that guy standing on top of the car with the Mexican flag. I mean, that is triumph. That is triumph right there. And I think I think it's getting lost on a lot of people. Let me put this thought exercise for you, because we are way more obsessed in this country with sports teams. Okay. If you are, and I referenced the Lakers before, if you're a Lakers fan, right, I dare you to go hoist and walk around wearing a Boston Celtics jersey or a flag. Like these Laker fans, they absolutely will not do, or a Golden State Warriors, right? They absolutely would not wear the other flag, because the other team's flag or jersey or anything, because that's just absolutely like it can't even fathom that. Well, imagine if that was the case. Imagine if that team came to your city and said, we own the city now. The Celtics came in and said, we own this city. I mean, that's the significance here. It'd make your skin crawl if you're a sports fan, if you're a Lakers fan. So I think people really need to take a strong look at what it means to stand in a foreign country that you were not born in, that you possibly came here illegally, right? And wave that flag. I mean, we've seen the clips of people being interviewed and talking about how they want to usher in socialism and communism and stuff. I mean, when I was in Los Angeles, I went down and covered a lot of protests down in downtown LA and in various places across the city, and it was like Che Guevara times 1,000 with the amount of people that showed up wanting to be the next Che Guevara. So these are radicals. It's a huge city. I mean, the county itself, LA County, is 10 million people, I believe. And so you're talking just a percentage of those folks who are willing to wave the flag of their home country and claim dominance over that land. I think is very significant.
Now, Matt, I want to talk to you about the concept of assimilation. Because I think it's a confusing concept, and people really they don't have a good idea of what it means to assimilate, how assimilation works. And we've had cultures that have come into the United States before, and they have assimilated. It was not easy. For example, there were immigration riots that occurred during the American Civil War because Abraham Lincoln was conscripting Irish who were coming off of the boats. And if anybody had seen the movie Gangs of New York, that's sort of that time period there. And there was a time when Irish were lower than blacks in an American class society. Irish need not apply. We've all seen these signs. Italians didn't used to be considered white. Now they're considered white people here in the United States. But Americans resisted the incursion of those cultures, which we deemed as foreign, and yet they assimilated. Is there any way to... I mean, is there something about South American culture, about Hispanic culture, that is just not prone to assimilation? Because there's a lot of conservative, Catholic, Hispanic Mexicans who assimilate just fine into United States culture. So, I mean, but then you have the African American community, which was brought here through slavery, and yet they still have really not assimilated, even though they've sort of built their own parallel culture. We have Mormons in the United States, and they just want to be left alone, as you know, out there out west. They want to have. We're in Missouri, so we kicked them out, so they wouldn't assimilate, or we refused to allow them to assimilate. Talk to us about your idea about this concept of assimilation, because people use these terms like melting pot and assimilation. I'd love to hear what you think about it.
Yeah, I thanks for that. I totally agree with your assessment and your walk down walk through the timeline of history. It's funny, when I was growing up. So my last name is Edwards, but my mom is full-blooded Italian. I mean, born in Staten Island, New York. Then my entire mom's side of the family is all Italians. All came over like maybe first generation, second generation. I think my mom was a first or second generation Italian American. And when I was a small child growing up in the 80s, like, we were always called, we were Italians. Like, there was no, I didn't know what the word white was. It was like, oh, we're Italians, you know, and then my dad's side, which was like a mix of, you know, Irish and English and that sort of thing. But for the most part, it was like, oh, we're Italians, and we were treated as Italians. And all my family that would come from New York, they were, oh, we're Italian American. And there was this pride, though. There was this pride in being in this country. And that's the part of the assimilation. The assimilation is, oh, thank the almighty creator that we are in America and we want to be American. And that's the most unique thing about this country in the entire world. You could move to Germany, Austin. You could move to Australia. You could move to Japan. You will never be Japanese. You may become a Japanese citizen if they allow you to. Right? Tina Turner moved to Switzerland and took many years to become a Swiss citizen, but she was never Swiss. But in America, you can come to America and you can apply and you can do it the right way and you can become American. And I don't know if that's I think it's just so unique, and I think it's so wonderful in it, because in America, yes, America's and I don't want to be the person that separates the idea of being American from the land of America, because I think our land is important. We do have a land. It's called the United States of America, and it is our country, and we're going to be celebrating 250 years of being here under a constitutional republic. But there's also this idea of being an American and what it means to be American, and it's the melting pot is not a the melting pot. I don't know. It's interesting because we've heard that term our whole lives, and I think people ascribe so many different meanings to it. Like, we're all melting together, and whatever the majority is, that's the culture that we're headed down. But I think our country is just so unique in the fact that you can come here
and be considered American, right? Even if you achieve citizenship and you do it legally, then you're considered to be an American. So what do you think what is necessary or proper in terms of assimilation into the United States? What do you think ought to be a requirement in order to achieve the privileges of American citizenship, in your opinion?
I mean, I think the first and foremost is that you have to respect our laws, right? And that doesn't necessarily mean like, oh, you're not, you know, you have to respect the basic law of, you know, like murder and theft and that sort of thing. But like, you have to understand what the government is not allowed to do. You know, our Constitution, our Bill of Rights is based on a set of negative rights. So I do have the freedom of speech, right? The government cannot shut me down. You cannot ask the government to shut me down. You know, I do have the right inherently to own firearms and carry firearms, right? So there's this idea. I mean, I remember sitting in taxi cabs or Ubers with folks from other countries, and they go, "I just don't understand why you guys allow people to have guns." And I'm like, well, I'm not allowed to have a gun. Like, it's just inherent in me, right? So I think that's one of the first things that people have to get through. Then they have to go through a civics class. They have to understand how to participate in our society. And of course, you know, the predominant language of our country is English. And so it would help to know the language, so that way you can understand our laws, you can understand what you see and read around you, and our communities shouldn't be bubbled off and catered to a particular community and feel like they're these little isolationist islands among an American city.
Matt Edwards, I'd love your take on this. There's a lot of people on the right these days that don't agree with your concept of negative rights. I hear a lot of people saying that that humans don't have any rights other than what they can enforce, because many are saying that they agree with Chairman Mao that political power comes at the barrel of the gun, and the rest of it, that the strong do what they want, and the rest of us tolerate it because we can't do anything about it. There is a bit of a truth to that, in that political power does flow from the barrel of a gun. And, there's a Nietzschean, Friedrich Nietzschean ideal there, in the sense of that the strong do what they will and the weak tolerate what they can. And we've sort of, in some ways, accepted that with the worst of Darwinism, social Darwinism in the United States, that we've created this sort of, Randian dystopia where only the survival of the most diverse will get access to the government-sponsored programs. And if you want to have a landscaping job from the city, you've got to be a minority woman-owned business, right? Everything seems to be, and I completely understand where a lot of these Zoomers are coming from, that the American society has been for the last 30 years, and especially since the rise of woke, has been aimed at preventing people like you and people from like myself from enjoying the privileges of citizenship or the benefit of the liberty that the founding fathers set up for their posterity, which is us. So I wonder what your take is on this concept of an America that serves anybody but those citizens who have a heritage in this country going back more than my own generation. The first grave that I see with my name on it goes back to like 1718 with my name on it. And some people say that may entitle me to more privileges than people who just moved here. And that is sort of the new narrative on the right. I wonder what your thoughts are on that.
Yeah, I mean, this whole it's a problem. There are folks that say, well, I've been in this country longer than you, or my family has gone back generations, so I'm more entitled to this than you are. I don't think that's how our country should operate. I think if you're here legally, if you're a citizen, then and you are given the same equal. Remember. It's about equality, not equity, right?
Well, it's so Matt, just to toss out a real world example, some of these judges, for example, who are blocking Donald Trump's executive orders or blocking his actions, have no ancestor which fought in the Civil War. Some of the people who are blocking his actions have the last name like Hakigawa. They've obviously come to the United States quite recently. And you have your Ilhan Omars, for example, who are legislating and taking power over people who have a heritage that goes back. I mean, I can kind of understand why people feel a bit of tension towards those people, but you say it's not a problem?
I see. I see what you're talking about now. The folks who are giving out the privileges, right? If they, I mean, if Ilhan Omar is in a position where she says, "Oh, I'm only going to cater to my Somali or my Muslim brothers," right? Yeah, that's a problem. That's a huge problem, and it is occurring because you're right. I mean, when you have folks that are more loyal to their own kind, if you will, and they're sitting in places of positions of power, whether they're judges, whether they're heads of departments that give out grants or that help people, lift them up out of poverty and that sort of thing. That these structures that are in our country, I think there is a sense of an abandoning of that principle that we should be treating everybody equally, and I think that is a problem. That is a problem. And unfortunately, that's what you get when you say we're going to open up the doors for everybody to come here as long as you are going to be what we would consider American. And I think we've failed in we've lowered the bar some in what it means to be an American. And look, I mean, there's a time and place for everything. And maybe there's a time, I never would have thought that I'd meet so many libertarians who are like, you know what, it is time to close the border, right? Because there's been, among a lot of libertarians, it's always been, open borders for everything. But there's a time, especially when it comes to like the debt and like and reducing spending. I think one of the best ways to reduce spending in this country is to get rid of the 40 million people that are here illegally.
40 million, 26 million, 6 million, man. Everybody, the numbers are all over the place on this.
They are, man.
Stuff. I don't know. I don't know how many there are, but if I have to press one for English, then Matt, it's great to have a convo with you, man. I really love that sign behind you. I think I saw somebody in the chat they said, "Do right and fear no man." That's
right, brother.
Great motto. Matt Edwards, you're the executive director of the Citizens Alliance of Idaho. Tell me about the good work that you're doing with them.
Oh, it's great, man. When I left California, because I left in 2020, there were riots during 2020, the George Floyd riots, right? So when I came here to this beautiful bastion of freedom up in Idaho, I thought, man, this is going to be great. But the left never quits. And once they're like a virus, once they took over California, Washington, Oregon, Colorado, Montana, they set their sights on Idaho, and my family's here, and I'm not going to let it fall like California is right now. So
there you go. He's making a stand here.
Exactly. So
Matt, where can people go to learn more about what Citizens Alliance is doing?
Just head over to citizensallianceidaho.org or follow me on X, True Matt Edwards, and you'll find out everything there.
There we go. True Matt Edwards over on X. We appreciate you, bud. Love your takes, and we'll have you back on again real soon.
Hey, thanks, Austin. Appreciate it, brother. Take care.
Thank you very much.
All right.
Mom Libido 101. Here's the basics of the formula. The amount she slept last night, plus how much food she's eaten today, sitting down, times the amount of help her partner gave her, divided by the annoying fucking comments, minus the number of times she was touched by her children today. So let's run through an example, shall we? Let's say mom got 8 hours of sleep last night, ate 3 full meals, her partner did pickup and bath time, but he was really fucking annoying twice. Then we have to subtract by the 1,000 times that she was touched today. Does anyone know what the answer is? Not a fucking chance. Welcome to Mom Libido 101.
It is Mom Libido. All right, folks, grab your calculators and your coffee because the sexual marketplace just got a math problem. Houston mom has gone viral with what she calls the mom libido equation. Let me read this to you. You try not to laugh too hard. So our chances that you're going to be able to be with your wife tonight. Hours of sleep that she got. This is the equation. Hours of sleep plus number of real meals eaten while seated times partner support divided by the number of annoying comments that he made minus the number of times touched by children equals her libido. There we go. Okay, so that's the libido equation. That's right. You can cook, clean, support, and tuck the kids in, do the dishes, and keep your mouth shut, and your reward, celibacy, weaponized through meth.
No, God, please, no.
Before we get there, though, if you're looking for a great place online for news, discussion, and entertainment, then check out Truth Social. That's Donald Trump's social media website. You'll get breaking news, stories, and commentary from top media figures. If you want to see Trump's legendary Truth Social posts, get on Truth Social today. Join a growing community of patriots on a free speech platform designed to avoid censorship and cancellation by big tech. Make your voice heard. Join the movement. Follow me on Truth Social. I'm AP for Liberty everywhere. And join Truth Social. What say you? All right. Let's hear this Harridan one more time, shall we? Let's play this. This is the libido math. Maddie the mom.
Mom Libido 101.
Mom Libido.
Here's the basics of the formula. The amount she slept last night, plus how much food she's eaten today, sitting down, times the amount of help her partner gave her, divided by the annoying fucking comments, minus the number of times she was touched by her children today. So let's run through an example, shall we? Let's say mom got 8 hours of sleep last night, ate 3 full meals, her partner did pickup and bath time, but he was really fucking annoying twice. Then we have to subtract by the 1,000 times that she was touched today. Does anyone know what the answer is? Not a fucking chance.
Not a chance. Look, I'll give her this. It's honest. It's brutally honest. But this is also a giant neon light sign that is flashing, showing why so many men are checking out of the game. They're just checking out on their wives, their girlfriends, their lives, dating in general. I mean, she didn't write a formula there, right? She writes sort of a contract of conditional affection. Let's flip the roles, okay? Imagine a husband says, I only go to work if my wife rubs my feet, she doesn't nag, and she lets me game for 2 hours uninterrupted. That's what I want. Here's my equation. Gentlemen, follow me down this path. I got to get me a nice foot rub. She's got to get out the oils. She's not going to nag me. She's going to let me play my video games. I'm playing Call of Duty Warzone these days. Add me on Xbox. My gamer tag is NYC producer. If you said something like that, you would be dragged through the mud. Peter Pan syndrome. Oh, gosh, you're a man-child, right? But when a woman says, I'm too tired and annoyed to love you, she gets a book deal and a podcast. Men are waking up. Men are waking up and they're realizing something. Marriage used to mean a partnership, but now it's used for most of the men that I hear from. Thank God my marriage is not like this. God bless Stephanie, my smoking hot, sweetheart, redheaded libertarian wife, Stephanie. Give it up for Steffi P. I only go to work if my wife rubs my feet. Marriage used to mean a partnership. Now it's often a performance review where you never get the raise, right? She makes the spaghetti lumpy one more time. This isn't about one mom, right? This is about a generation of women being told you're owed rest, you're owed comfort and validation. Your man, he's lucky if he gets leftovers and a guilt trip, right? He's lucky if he gets a guilt trip. He's lucky if he gets leftovers. I don't blame my wife, Steph. She loves leftovers. I just eat it all, so there's never any leftovers. Tired moms. That's what it is. TikTok these days. I'm glad I'm not on that app. I see it, unfortunately. I watch my TikToks like an adult on YouTube. Good morning, pineapples. That's Austin Peterson here, AP for Liberty. Of the 526 people joining us live here on the Wake Up America show, we salute you. We'd love to have you become a regular guest. Easiest way to do that is to click that like and subscribe. Subscribe, as my Indian friend says. Subscribe. Thank you. Come again. Our culture celebrates self-care over sacrifice. It celebrates girl dinner over dinner with your husband. And the kicker is she brags later on. She talks about how her husband had no notes. Of course not, because the man has notes. If he has notes, it's suddenly toxic or it's controlling or it's insecure, right? Love to hear your thoughts on this. Send us a text at 573-319-1586. Now, let's be real, guys. Motherhood is hard, right? It takes a toll on the body. And God bless these ladies for doing what they do, the sacrifices of their body that they make to be mothers. It is challenging. Toddlers are chaos with legs. My sweet little baby Hazel has reached her violent stage where she doesn't understand the concept of violence, and she loves to just like bam, bop me right across the face. Like the other day, she has like little claws, and she like in my eye. It was like chunk. She's like got that like scratch in my eye, pulling my face. Like, look, parenthood is tough, right? But if a man says, "Listen, I'm too stressed to be a father, so I'm gonna check out emotionally, indefinitely," do you think that society would pat him on the back? I want to know. Do you think society would pat a man on the back if he did something like that? No, he'd be called a deadbeat, obviously. But when a mom says, I'm too touched out to be a wife, I've been touched too many times today to do my wifely duties, that's celebrated as empowerment, right? That's not equality. That's a double standard wrapped in a diaper commercial. Click that like button over in the chat. With 503 likes, you think we could hit 100? We could do it. Some couples who have been reached out to, I grabbed this from the New York Post this morning. They were interviewing couples on their reaction to the mom libido. And here, let me play it for you all one more time so that those who are just checking in can hear it. This is the video that we're responding to here.
Welcome to Mom Libido 101. Here's the basics of the formula. The amount she slept last night, plus how much food she's eaten today, sitting down, times the amount of help her partner gave her, divided by the annoying fucking comments, minus the number of times she was touched by her children today. So let's run through an example, shall we? Let's say mom got 8 hours of sleep last night, ate 3 full meals. Her partner did pickup and bath time, but he was really fucking annoying twice. Then we have to subtract by the 1,000 times that she was touched today. Does anyone know what the answer is? Not a fucking chance.
So they interviewed some of these couples and okay, guys, stop with the booze. Some couples like the Lions from New York say that their secret is scheduled intimacy. So every Tuesday, every Friday, they pencil it in between ballet class and book club. Oh, honey, I need you to insert your in my. Yes, it's 7:30 p.m., darling. Okay, good for them, right? But let's be honest. When you got to schedule romance like a dentist appointment, something is off. We've gone from sweep her off her feet to send me a Google Calendar invite. I will respond. I didn't see your Google Calendar invite. I can't do it tonight. Do you think George Washington scheduled a kiss with Martha between crossing the Delaware and bayoneting the Redcoats? Of course not. That was a man. Martha actually, when they were struggling, I just saw this. I was at Mount Vernon, George Washington's house a couple months ago or last month, was it? The Liberty Tour? God, it was June. Good God. When was the APDC Liberty Tour? May 1st, 2nd, and 3rd? Yes, it was. Last month then. And they showed that Martha Washington, when like hope was down and all was thought to be lost, Martha Washington, she visited George Washington's camp to cheer up the troops and boost their morale. Yeah, right, Martha. Yeah, right. She was looking for George Washington's bayonet. The real risk, though, a sexless, loveless future. Stephanie and I talk about this stuff. This is, she does therapy, so she's talking about couples and relationships and how she deals with couples that are in these marriages, sexless marriages. And it's hard on women. There are women who have higher sex drives than the men do. Mostly it's the other way around. But this is a trend that we are struggling with in this country. Record low marriage rates, skyrocketing divorce filings, the vast majority of which are initiated by women, and then millions of men who just quit. They're not misogynists. They're just realists. They're looking around and they're saying, why would I sign a contract where she gets the house, the kids, the income, and I get criticized for breathing too loud, or if my kids touch her, then there's no sex tonight, Muhammad. But this is why the red pill movement exists. This is why feminists complain about Andrew Tate. This is why Andrew Tate exists, because when one side stops playing fair, the other side doesn't want to play at all. Right? Why would you keep going? My buddies and I, we used to run a game on the elementary school playground. It was Foursquare. And the fourth square was for the kids who wanted to challenge the Foursquare cartel. This is at Raymore Elementary School, circa 1985 or 6 or 7. I don't know. Somewhere in the mid to late 80s. Raymore Elementary School, we're playing Foursquare, and it's me, Melvin Dunsworth, and I think Sean Arcedino. I hope that I haven't heard from Sean. I checked up on Melvin. He's still good. He joined the military and became like an intelligence, like naval officer. It was pretty impressive. Look at me. I hope Sean Arcedino is doing better. But we ran a cartel at the Foursquare Club where the kids would line up. There used to be a line a half mile long of elementary school kids who wanted to take us on because the three of us would team up against the fourth square with the ball. And if you've never played Foursquare, you basically are trying to bounce it in your opponent's square. And if they don't catch it, then they're out, right? So the fourth person in the Foursquare, you work your way up to square number 1, and the fourth person comes in. So the kids used to line up, and we just used to run trains on these kids. I mean, not in that kind of a train, right? But not as you meant as a train, but I mean like a long train of students. I would treetop you every time, Austin, if we played Foursquare. Excuse me?
No offense, but it sounds like some fucking commie gobbledygook.
But we didn't play fair. And at first, the kids all wanted to destroy us because they were all so mad because we would trounce everybody who came in with our little Foursquare cartel until finally nobody could beat us. And so they realized that we wouldn't try and get each other out. We would only get out the fourth person. So they're like, there's no chance. It's 3 awesome players against 1. And so they just stopped. The line stopped because people, after a while, when they realize that the game is rigged, they stop playing. Now, there are some masochists out there who will continue who love the pain and will continue to suffer for years and years in sexless marriages and simp out. Sure, there are people who do that. Most people, though, they check out. They have affairs, and they step out in their marriages, or they just get divorced. And for a lot of men these days, they just choose not to get divorced. I'm not here to bash marriage, guys. I'm pro-family, as you know. I've got a wonderful life and family. I'm probably more gifted with my family that I have than anything I've ever done in my entire life. I've had a lot of ups. I've had a lot of downs. I've had a lot of successes. I've had a lot of failures. But probably my biggest success in my life is my marriage and my relationship with my wife. Thank God I have her. But how do we solve these problems of sexless marriages, lack of communication, men being put into a corner? Nobody puts baby in the corner, but men are being put into a corner. How do we solve these problems? Well, you have to have honest expectations, I think. You have to have real communication. What does that look like? We have to have a culture that stops celebrating burnout and starts rebuilding connection, because what this woman is doing is celebrating burnout. She's empowered because she's feeling frazzled, she's feeling tired. So if you want her to do her wifely duties to her husband, then then you're a misogynist. You're a hateful hater.
Libido 101. Here's the basics of the formula. The amount she slept last night, plus how much food she's eaten today, sitting down, times the amount of help her partner gave her, divided by the annoying fucking comments, minus the number of times she was touched by her children today. So let's run through an example, shall we? Let's say mom got 8 hours of sleep last night, she ate 3 full meals, her partner did pick up and bath time, but he was really fucking annoying twice. Then we have to subtract by the 1,000 times that she was touched today. Does anyone know what the answer is? Not a fucking chance. Well,
sad. Deeply sad. And there you have it. Ladies, if you're married, don't treat your husband like a roommate who forgot to take out the trash. And men, do not settle for a one-sided relationship where your needs are a punchline on Instagram. There should be mutual sacrifice, mutual service, mutual desire. That's what keeps a marriage alive, not resentment in a formula. Am I right, or am I like just a dinosaur who believes in love, who believes in liberty? I want to hear your thoughts. Send us a text at 573-319-1586. That's 573-319-1586. If you still believe in freedom and foreplay. If you still believe in freedom and foreplay, pick up your wife a gift that isn't just flowers, maybe a shirt that says touched out but trying from forlibertyshop.com. I'll tell you what, men, I've got the cure for it right now. My exclusive Liberty earring collection is just selling like hotcakes. People love the For Liberty shop, and I love sharing with people all of the wonderful things, the items that I find. All of our earrings are made in America, except for the unexploded bombs. Those come from Vietnam. For a reason, forlibertyshop.com, where you can find bomb pop popsicle earrings. My recommendation to all the men who are out there right now, if you have a wife and she is feeling a little harassed, a little harangued, a little tired, her libido's a little bit low, you know how to bump it up? Go to forlibertyshop.com and buy her a pair of bomb pop popsicle earrings for herself, and for you, the Don't Tread on Me snake earrings. See, the men like to wear the Don't Tread on Me snake earrings when they ride their motorcycles. Donald Trump earrings, even Melania Trump earrings. You've got to be joking. My sweet, smoking hot redhead libertarian wife Stephanie really loves the Rosie the Riveter earrings. You can get those exclusively at forlibertyshop.com. That's the number 4. That's real female empowerment there. But the honeycomb bomb earrings made from bombs, those were not made in America. But all of the other ones are, I believe... Yes, other ones are forlibertyshop.com. We have little Constitution earrings, Republican elephant earrings, Missouri's state earrings, because of course we do stream live from Missouri, so I had to get those. Eagle earrings, bullet tassel earrings, Bitcoin stud earrings, American shield stud earrings, and apron earrings to remind her that yes. So get her the apron earrings and the bomb pop earrings to remind her that, yes, you love her and here's something cute and pretty, but also get back in the kitchen. Just kidding, ladies. Come on. Gentlemen, go to forlibertyshop.com, and while you're there, grab a towel from the Summer of Freedom collection, our Gulf of America Shark Beach towels. Apparently there's a company called Gulf of America, and they started their company in 2017. They issued a takedown notice for all the shirts at forlibertyshop.com that say Gulf of America. But I think that their trademark might get canceled because it's now officially the Gulf of America. Trump named it as such with the executive order. So you can't trademark something like that. It'd be like trademarking Statue of Liberty and then saying nobody can sell t-shirts that say Statue of Liberty on it. No, actually that's in the public domain and we should be able to do so. So I might have to spend $600 and fight this guy in court to prevent him from stopping. But if I lose, then guess what? All of our Gulf of America t-shirts and hats, they're gone, baby. So if you wanted one for this summer, you better get one because we might have to take them out. We'll still keep our Gulf of America beach towels. And all these designs are original. We didn't steal anybody's designs. We made these designs ourselves. But the fact is that people are litigious and they prefer to use the government to block out competition rather than compete me in the court of ideas and in the free market. They want the government to stop me from doing it. So go to forlibertyshop.com. You can see we even have a Gulf of America collection, all of the Gulf of America stuff. We have a Gulf of America shark t-shirt, and those might be going away depending on what my lawyer says. So check it out at forlibertyshop.com. That's the number 4, libertyshop.com.
Or socially. Your question. I see society as more and more tending toward the usurping of my individual rights and freedoms as time goes by. What do you see as the ultimate end of this, i.e. either in democracy or socialism, and why do you think the individuals within the society are letting this happen to them?
Well, the last part of your question is the hardest one to answer. If we continue along the road we've been going on, of usurping more and more power to governmental officials to control our lives, I see only one end, and that's a loss of anything that has any meaning as democracy, a loss of human freedom, and a prison state. That's the end. Now, why are people letting this happen to them? That's a much more difficult question to answer. And I think it is largely because of ignorance about where they are going, a lack of recognition. I don't believe they want to go this road, but I believe they are unwittingly letting themselves go down this road because on each issue that comes up, people look at their separate special interest instead of the broader interest in governmental activity. Everybody wants to cut down government, provided that those things he has an interest in are maintained. I remember very well the summit conference in Washington on inflation that President Ford had about 2 or 3 years ago, in which one representative after another got up and said, in order to stop inflation, we have to cut the government budget. The way to cut the government budget is to spend more on my interests. That's how each separate group does it. So I think we are being driven down this road fundamentally by a defect in our political structure. a defect which allows each of these separate elements of government to be voted on separately and never gets the citizen to look at the totality of it and see what the whole thing adds up. The solution is for people like you and me to talk to ourselves and to our fellows and to try to persuade our fellow men to be of like mind, to change the climate of opinion in these respects, to try to correct the political structure to impose I've been recently working on one particular proposal along those lines, which is to have constitutional amendments setting a maximum limit to the amount the government may spend. I won't go into the details of that, but I think fundamentally we are getting what the public at large is asking for. And the public is asking for it, I believe, because they do not understand where it's going to lead them, because they are misinformed. And they are being led that way by the intellectual community, which has gone down a wrong road, in my opinion. Now, I don't believe the case is hopeless. I believe there are many signs of change. There are many more people who recognize the problems with this road now than did 20 or 30 years ago. Experience is a wonderful teacher. So that I think you and I just have to keep on doing our little things, trying to... Thank you. Let's take the next question.
Gets harder and harder when you see headlines like this. I'm reading just now, breaking news. Missouri's GOP senator, my senator, Josh Hawley, plans to introduce legislation today to raise the federal minimum wage to $15 an hour. Jeez. That puts him in straight alignment with some of the most progressive, most liberal members of Congress. Legislation called the Higher Wages for American Workers Act would raise the federal standard starting 2026, but also call for an increase in subsequent years to match inflation. Good God. As he exits today, guys, exit through the Grift Shop. What's the Grift Shop, AP? It's 4libertyshop.com. That's the number 4, libertyshop.com. I think we all owe a big thank you to rumble.com for introducing me to the hundreds and hundreds of new people that joined us today, who are here for the very first time. Before you leave, make sure you click the follow button over on Rumble. So don't leave before you click that follow button. It's totally free, and it's a way for you to get notifications when we go live, which is every Monday through Friday, 7 to 9 a.m. Central Time. If you want to get more content like this in the mornings, hang out with a fun group of people, fellow patriots, then become a regular viewer of the Wake Up America show by clicking the follow button here at rumble.com/AP for Liberty. If you want to get more spicy hot takes from me, you can follow me over on X at AP for Liberty. I'm on all of the social platforms, but Rumble is the best. As you can see, they're huge supporters of me. It's time to dance. Relaxia McGroin, T-Mill 22, Luke Sacker, Kim McCurry, Dad Bod Baboon, Agora Greg, InJam 77, Drew Van Runkle, C. Songaroth, Amy, J. Ease, Decision Points, and so many others. Thank you guys so much. I appreciate all of our regular viewers and fans. I know I'll see you tomorrow. I probably won't see the 500 to 800 to 900 people who were here or so earlier, but I know that I will see the regulars for sure tomorrow, and hopefully a few of the stragglers who said, hey, that wasn't a bad show, I'll watch it again, because they clicked the follow button. I guess I'll see you guys again tomorrow here on the Wake Up America show on the 4 Liberty Network. Bye guys, have a great day.
When environmentalists scream, "Save the Earth," they usually forget to mention they might need to steamroll a few farmers along the way. Out in Iowa, the heartland of America, where people still value things like land, freedom, and not being bulldozed by the government, landowners are being told they have to give up their property for a carbon pipeline. Not because they want to, not because they were offered a deal too good to refuse. No, because the government says so. It's called eminent domain, and if you've ever had the misfortune of reading the fine print on your so-called private property rights, you know that phrase is just a polite way of saying, your land is yours, until someone richer wants it. Now let's be clear, this isn't a pipeline to get water to dying crops or energy to Americans who need it. This is a CO2 pipeline. That's right. The government and private industry are teaming up to build a $1 billion underground straw that sucks carbon dioxide out of ethanol plants and pumps it across multiple states so it can be buried in North Dakota, like a bad idea someone's trying to hide in the backyard. It's part of a grand vision called carbon capture, a high-cost, low-return fantasy where we pretend to save the climate by shoving gases underground and then patting ourselves on the back with your tax dollars. And how are they getting the land to do this? By threatening American citizens, by telling farmers, some who've held this land for generations, that if they don't sell, the government will just take it. And who's behind this? A company called Summit Carbon Solutions. And they've had help from state officials who conveniently redefined the term public use to include a private company ramming a tube through your cornfield. Let's just pause on that. You work the land, pay the taxes, defend your home, and now you get to be told by a bureaucrat that this isn't really your land after all. Because climate. Now here's the part that should really boil your blood. A lot of these so-called leaders rubber stamping this land grab aren't just left-wing bureaucrats. They're Republicans, supposed conservatives, the same people who show up at CPAC in cowboy boots talking about the Constitution, then go home and sign off on corporate seizures of private property. They'll wrap themselves in the Gadsden flag 1 minute and let a foreign-backed energy firm tread all over you the next. They say limited government, but apparently that means limiting you, not themselves. And don't bother trying to get a straight answer. Most of them are too busy at ribbon cuttings for things you didn't ask for and definitely didn't vote for. We're told this is all necessary to combat climate change. But let's be honest, stealing land from American citizens to bury carbon isn't saving the planet. It's just another government grift. A multi-billion-dollar shell game where the winners are the corporations that lobbied for it and the losers are the people who actually live on the land. This is not just an Iowa problem. This is a test case. If they can get away with it here, if they can con the public into believing that green energy justifies ripping up your deed and trampling your rights, they'll do it in your state next. Let's be honest, a pipeline that runs on stolen land is not a victory for the planet. It's a victory for corporate welfare, government overreach, and climate cronies who'd rather sue a farmer than ask permission. Now, I'm not here to trash every climate solution. But when the solution involves stealing land from Americans and handing it to billionaires, we've crossed a line. So here's your call to action. If you believe in private property, if you believe your land is yours, not the state's, not a company's yours, then you need to speak up. Share the stories from Iowa. Pressure your representatives. And if you're in a red state, ask your governor why they're letting green tyranny in through the back door. Because if we don't stop this now, the only thing green about the future will be the money changing hands, from your pocket to theirs. And hey, if you're tired of just shouting into the void online, maybe it's time to make a statement that sticks. Go check out forlibertyshop.com, where your t-shirt does more for freedom than your congressman did last session. We've got gear that sparks conversations, starts debates, and occasionally offends the right people. Not funded by lobbyists and definitely not carbon captured, because the fight for liberty isn't just in the courtroom or on the ballot, it's in the culture too. Wear it, share it, and never surrender an inch. When the Founding Fathers dreamed of liberty, they forgot one thing: coffee. Introducing Founding Flavors Coffee, the brew that built America, and the brew that's fueling a new revolution, one kitchen at a time. Small batch roasted, Patriot approved, and disappearing faster than a redcoat at Yorktown. Don't get left behind, soldier. Real patriots are starting their mornings with Founding Flavors. And trust us, freedom tastes better with a fresh cup in your hand. Stop drinking those tyrant brews who take your money and don't support your values. Stocks are limited, demand is booming, and your morning deserves a taste of liberty. Order now at forlibertyshop.com before the next shipment gets signed, sealed, and sold out. Founding Flavors Coffee, the official brew of morning rebellions everywhere. Get yours at forlibertyshop.com.
tired of the strange radioactive effects of leftist culture? Do you ever wonder what happened to good old-fashioned American values? Well, fear no more, because there's a new force fighting back against the cultural rot of today. Introducing Culturama, a right-of-center talk show that's taking back the future today. Hosted by none other than blonde bombshell herself, Daniela Pensack. She's not just talking, she's taking culture back. With sharp takes, brilliant guests, and a few surprises along the way. Tune in to the live video podcast twice a week, because the future doesn't have to be weird. It can be Culturama.
If there wasn't going to be somebody who was a fiery champion of liberty, somebody who would get out there and who would be aggressive, and if they wouldn't do it with more fire or passion than I had, then I would go and I would fight this battle for us. I've fought for the principles that we all share. Parties tend to be secondary to me. We're here because we believe in the principles of liberty. I am not a perfect messenger, but I think I'm a damn good one. This is a replica of our first president's flintlock pistol. You have my full support, my respect, and my gun.
I think that the heart of my philosophy is much more libertarianism than well, that's the fashionable word these days, I guess. A conservative is no longer just that. He's a libertarian, and always has been.
Yet any time you and I question the schemes of the do-gooders, we're denounced as being against their humanitarian goals. They say we're always against things, we're never for anything.
What is fascism? Fascism is private ownership, private enterprise, but total government control and regulation.
Well, the trouble with our liberal friends is not that they're ignorant. It's just that they know so much that isn't so. If we lose freedom here, there's no place to escape to. This is the last stand on earth. This is the issue of this election. Whether we believe in our capacity for self-government or whether we abandon the American Revolution and confess that a little intellectual elite in a far distant capital can plan our lives for us better than we can plan them ourselves.
Conservative, so-called, is the one that says less government, get off my back, get out of my pocket, and let me have more control of my own destiny.